Good morning. I hope you can hear me. Please let me know. I'm going to go live in a second. Sweet. I am going to go live. Let's hope I don't screw this up. And I appreciate it if anyone wants to share this out on the social medias and all that stuff. I'm trying to give people an opportunity that want to ask me anything. You want to say, hey, the content's great, the content sucks, you don't like Xbox, whatever. Now is your chance. Now is your absolute chance, because I get a lot of it on social media. So that's why I want to have an open forum so people can ask me whatever they want. So here we go. Let's hope I don't screw this up. And I don't think I have. So good morning, everyone. How you doing? Again, it's just morning chat. I have no agenda. Obviously, I have no fancy graphics, which I'm about to change. I'm actually going to meet with someone in a couple hours, and I'm going to upgrade the channel a little bit, upgrade the logos, because I did all this, God, before the pandemic, I want to say. So this was probably like 2019 or so. So it's time. It's been a while. I have not given this channel the love that it should have. So I am planning to just upgrade the logos, kind of, if I am doing live stream stuff, have proper banners and transitions and all that fancy stuff. So I'm going to meet with someone that's uber talented with doing this and see what we can come up with. And I did see someone in the chat say there's an XCast reunion. Yes, tomorrow. Myself, Snowbike Mike, and Gary Woodda, we are going to reunite, and we're going to kind of run down what we think the rest of Xbox's life cycle is going to be for this generation. So it should be fun. And I'm not talking to Gary in a hot minute, so I'm really excited to talk to Gary. And again, good morning to everybody that is here. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm just messing around with this live stream stuff. I would love to find a regular cadence for this, to do it like once a week. I would have to see what just works out for my schedule. It just so happens this week I don't have a lot going on in the morning as far as meetings go. So that's why I've been messing around with it. Trying to think what else to update. If you're looking at my face and one of my eyes looks weird, I'm recovering from a sinus infection. One of my eyes got swollen during that, so I'll probably look weird for probably another week or so, but should be fine. Let's see. I am seeing questions here already, and someone is asking me, what do I think of the Microsoft earnings yesterday? A little surprised. I was a little surprised. The hardware part, obviously, it's not surprising at all. That seemed about right to me, but I was a little surprised. I guess overall they were down 7% on gaming revenue, but then it sounds like Game Pass did gain, some new subs during the quarter. So I am not a financial expert to be smart enough to know what it means. I mean, on the surface, it doesn't look great, obviously, but I would imagine, hearing what Satya Nadella was saying, that if you thought they weren't going multi-platform, they damn sure going multi-platform now, because they clearly need to generate more revenue for their gaming business. So clearly they are going to put games on multiple platforms. I did think it was interesting, and Phil Spencer had even alluded to this last year, but I think Satya also alluded to them basically not subsidizing their hardware anymore. Whatever this handheld's going to be, whatever the next Xbox is going to be, it's not going to be cheap. I think that's pretty safe to say. It will cost you to want to be able to get a next generation Xbox, for better or worse. Whatever tech specs are going to be on it, obviously we'll see when they officially announce it, but I don't think it's going to be cheap. I think let's start the bidding at $700 and probably go up from there. And especially if they bring in third-party vendors to also make Xbox certified hardware, the Asuses and MSIs and Samsungs of the world, if they're making their own variants of Xbox hardware, obviously we'll see scaling in price, but you'll see scaling in performance on that as well. But I mean, this is the new future of Xbox. This is where they're headed, like it or not. I mean, I think the Band-Aid has been ripped off enough that people should just go ahead and start accepting it at this point. But this is where we're headed. What else do we have here question wise? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, just good morning, everybody. Like I said, I am completely freestyling this. So again, no real agenda or main topic that I have. I just want to test out live streaming. Again, I was hoping Danny was online. I want to test out bringing somebody in via Discord as well, just so I can start utilizing that so it's not just me staring at a camera talking, to myself here. But and as I said that, what is this? Let's see. And looks like I just got Spider-Man 2 on PC. So I will do that after the stream. Really looking forward to checking that out on PC. I was looking at the specs and everything. And I mean, now that I have a 5090, want to see how much I can max it out on PC. I mean, I've played it on PS5 Pro. It looks obviously fantastic on PS5 Pro and all of that. But definitely looking forward to playing Spider-Man 2 on PC as well. And I'm sure the mods are going to be crazy when those start coming out too. And what is Jonathan saying? Hey, Parris, I've been a follower for years from the UK. Thank you so much. And my question, what is your single most anticipated game for 2025? That's a good question. I'm going to stick with Fable. I'm very curious to see what Playground Games is going to do with Fable. Again, knock on wood that it does come in 2025. Nothing's changed so far. So I'll stick with Fable and say that Playground has proven themselves as a game developer. Obviously, this is out of their wheelhouse doing this open world RPG. I'm a fan of Fable, so I'm looking forward to that coming back. What the little we have seen of it so far looks good to me. I think clearly the visuals are great. I think they've nailed just the comedic aspects of what makes Fable great as well. So I'm expecting at the June showcase we get a developer direct for a true deep dive into Fable. So I'll say that. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6, if it does come this year, that's just like a constant. To me, Grand Theft Auto is almost like a Call of Duty. It's just, it's going to be great. So I'm not even concerned by that, but I'll stick with Fable. And I am seeing some super chats come in. And again, I appreciate everyone's generosity with that. I really do. I mean, this channel is a shit show. This live stream is a shit show. So you wanting to support that as I upgrade this and get better, I truly appreciate it. So with that said, I am seeing Colby with a $5 super chat. He's saying, good morning. Are morning live chats going to be an ongoing thing for you now? I hope so. It honestly, it depends on my work schedule, and it just depends on what day and time works best. Like if I figure out like, all right, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. I can do it, then I will make that a standard thing and schedule it out and communicate that so that people will know. Right now, I am just flying by the seat of my pants on this, but yeah, I definitely would love to do something just once a week. I'm not trying to every day or anything like that. Right now, I'm doing it every day because I'm just screwing around. But if I get on a regular cadence, kind of for me with content creation, just so you know, obviously I'll do kind of funny stuff when it makes sense that I'm on. So that's not going to be, not necessarily like there'll be weeks like this week I'm on twice. I might not be on all next week. There might be another week I'm on 3-4 times, right? So kind of funny just depends on what is the topic. Does it make sense that I come in? And I'm always lurking in the background to randomly jump on a KFGD. So I'm always around for kind of funny, but that one is random. Gamertag Radio, we do it every Sunday morning. That comes out once a week. And then if I'm doing a review or preview on this channel, as those come in, I would post those on here. But then, like I said, kind of just a weekly roundup of whatever the hell is going on with gaming. I would love to come on and talk about it. And it won't just be gaming. I like talking about wrestling and anime. Like I just watched Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I thought those first 2 episodes were great. So I was like, I'll talk about all kind of stuff. But appreciate the super chat. And thank you very much. And Eternal again with a $10. Man, you're too generous, my friend. What are your thoughts about Ben Studios' layoff and not giving the number? It's disappointing, and I'll fold EA and BioWare into that as well. They tried to sugarcoat the layoffs that happened at BioWare Edmonton, which I think is kind of shitty. Sure, some of the people were able to get reassigned, work at other studios and all that. But regardless, it's very disruptive. And for the people that completely lost their jobs, it sucks. So the same goes to the people at Ben Studios. And I know, and again, I haven't 100% read it, so I could be off on this. I thought it was contractors that got laid off at Ben Studios. I don't know if it was FTEs, full-time employees, but either way, it sucks. Live service game got canceled. It was inevitable that, you know, people were going to be removed from that studio as a result, as they pivot into whatever the new project is that they're going to do. And Dopus, you're saying have a good day. Yeah, I mean, early morning for me still, 8 a.m. here on the West Coast, and appreciate you the content. Again, like I said, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here right now. I did see something that made me laugh though, because again, I just give my opinion. What I know is what I know. You know, I can be wrong on anything. But the first live stream I did, because I was reacting to the interview we did with Phil Spencer, I saw a clip. I saw a tweet online that led me to a live stream of, I'm not even gonna say the person's name, but was reacting to it. And I didn't listen to it because I'm sure it's a bunch of nonsense, but it was just funny that my little random ass stream went into this person's thing that they felt a need to react to it. It just makes me laugh. I will say this to anyone that has issue with me, that is a detractor of me. That's fine. Like I'm doing this live stream now. I would love to have those conversations because I'll never pretend to be right about anything. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, but I will always give you reasons for my opinion, right? Versus just blurting out, hey, I think this is great or this sucks. I'm going to tell you why I think the way that I think on anything. And people that don't agree with it, that's fine. And what do we have here? Oh, hey, Tanya, how you doing? I see you in the chat. Always appreciate your support, and hopefully I'll get to see you again soon at some event, I'm sure. Antonio with a $5 super chat. He is saying, I have a gaming podcast, and today we're speaking on Xbox. Based on everything Phil has said in the past week, will we see another home console? Yes, because he said we would. He said we would. This is why I asked him specifically about hardware. I go, okay, you're putting all these games everywhere. Why would I still buy an Xbox? And he answered the question that they are going to still make consoles. Box is literally in the name. It is a key pillar of their business. Look, he's the CEO, so believe him, not believe him, that's fine. But he said they're making another box. Sarah Bonnet said they're making another box, and they want to make it unique enough and innovative enough that you still want to buy it. So we will see what that's going to be. And we know a handheld is coming too. And what else we got here? Hey, Steve, Blind Gamer Steve. Yeah, man. Just so you know, because I know I commented to you on Blue Sky about DICE. I am now 50-50 on DICE. Again, just work stuff. I don't know if it would be smart of me to actually be in Las Vegas when potentially I might have to be in the office in San Diego for a day or two during that week. We'll see. I'll know for sure next week if that's going to be the case. If so, then I'll let you know. But yeah, 50-50 on DICE. If I do miss DICE, it'll be a bummer because I definitely want to see you and everybody else that's going to be there. But hopefully I can make it. Definitely want to check out DICE again. It would be my third year going if I go. DICE Awards, the whole thing. So it was cool last year because I actually got to present during the DICE Awards, which was cool. Lone Wolf with a $2 super chat. I'm not telling you. Let's put it that way. That information will come soon. That's all I will say on that. What else do we? But I do appreciate your super chat. But there's embargoes for a reason, and there's timings on when things can be announced. So I will just simply say, pay attention soonish. What do we have? The only reason I'm still on consoles is because PC parts are very expensive here in the UK. They're expensive everywhere, honestly. And see, here's the thing. I get not everyone's going to want to build a PC. It's not cheap to build a PC. That is the whole point of having a console. It's supposed to be a low price entry point into gaming. That's what it's always been. So I don't think anyone should ever feel any pressure that they need to build a PC or whatever. Look, essentially what Xbox has told you is, just taking it from that standpoint, you can go buy a PlayStation and you're going to get all their games moving forward. So if you like Xbox games and obviously you want to play PlayStation games, go buy a PlayStation, because that's essentially what they told you. Now, If that isn't a deciding factor for you, maybe an Xbox console still makes sense for you. Again, you don't have to get a PC. Maybe the Switch 2 makes sense for you. They're going to put Xbox games there. You play the Nintendo games there. I am very sympathetic to the fact that not everybody can afford multiple devices. You might only be able to pick one. And at least from the Xbox perspective, they're now pivoting for various reasons into, we're going to make sure our games are in as many places as possible so we can reach you. So that person that can only afford a PlayStation, you still go play Halo and Gears and all these other things, because those games will be on that platform. And let me say this too. Include, if you lurking in the chat somewhere, you clip this shit and put it out there, because I keep seeing this and people need to stop with the false hope. I know what Phil said with Destin about games. Not every game is going to be on PlayStation or Switch, as an example. He was referring to legacy games that have not already been ported, things that are basically in the back catalog. You're not necessarily going to see them go back and port those over to Nintendo and to PlayStation. But you should have the expectation that any new game coming from Xbox Game Studios will eventually show up on a PlayStation and a Switch 2 if the Switch 2 performance-wise can support it. That would be the only differentiator as far as with Switch 2. Not every Xbox game will be able to run on a Switch 2 device. We'll obviously see once we get all the final specs, but everything's going to be on PlayStation and obviously PC and cloud. So I think we need to rip that Band-Aid off and just set that expectation, because, I got a little bit of criticism that I didn't specifically ask Phil Spencer about Halo or Gears or Forza or things like that going multi-platform. I didn't think I needed to, because I think he was crystal clear when he said there's no red lines. And then even within the interview that we did, he talked about not putting walls around their games. That says to me, no, I'm not going to keep South of Midnight away from PlayStation. South of Midnight's going to eventually show up on PlayStation. You should have that expectation at this point. There will be studio resource limitations that, sure, not everything is going to go day and date depending on the studio, but you got to remember, Activision and Bethesda Studios were already equipped to support third-party studios. So they're already multi-platform. So they have more resources than what something may have been internal already at Xbox Game Studios, or a small studio like Compulsion or Double Fine may not have the resources to necessarily go day and date with everything. So sure, there might be some limited windows of timed exclusivity as a result, but as the years go on and as we get further into this generation, into the next generation, just expect everything to be multi-platform. It just makes logical sense. I get brand loyalty. I get people wanting to hold on, the value of the console, all that. I'm very sympathetic to that, because I think some people think I'm not, but I am. But this is just the reality that we're in. It's not about what I like. It's what the company's going to do, because they got to make money. We obviously just saw those financial results. They're trying to make money. So to make money, you put the games everywhere. Because I said this the other day, I'll say it again. If, let's just say, go by what Phil Spencer has said. If Phil Spencer is saying that I'm listening to what creators are saying, what game developer, what game creator doesn't want as many people as possible to play their game? And how do you enable that? By putting it in as many places as possible. It's just a simple fact. So that should be the expectation moving forward. And I guess I had a $1.99 super chat from Idiot Guru, but maybe I said something dumb and he just retracted it, because this message retracted. But no, this is how I think. That's just my thoughts on it. So I hope all that makes sense. And again, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone in the chat. I'm literally just reacting to you, what you're asking me in the chat. So I do appreciate everyone that is in here and asking me stuff. And let's see, what else do we have here? One thing I'm not clear on is whether future Xbox hardware will support Xbox console digital licenses, PC digital licenses, or both. How does MS merge the ecosystems legally without giving up on BC? I think you're saying backwards compatibility. That is a fantastic and fair question. I am hoping and praying that when we get the full reveal of what the Xbox experience is going to be on Windows, which I think is going to be a key component to whatever the future Xbox hardware is going to be, that I'm able to talk to Jason Ronald or someone like that, right? From a technical standpoint to understand the licensing, because what I want from whatever the next Xbox is, and especially that handheld, I don't want the Xbox app on PC. I want the entire Xbox digital library available to me. That means first party and third party, along with anything that's already backwards compatible via the digital library that we currently have on the Series X now. And then obviously Series X games moving into the future would also be available on whatever the new Xbox console is going to be and that Xbox handheld. And if they're doing some kind of Xbox OS where I could kind of build my own thing and third party vendors can have like this hybrid thing where it's an Xbox, but then like Steam OS, I can flip it to a desktop mode. I still want access to my entire Xbox digital library. To me, that's the future of where we're headed with this. Not to mention, even with the multi-platform stuff, we've already seen an example with Indiana Jones on Steam. You now can log into basically Xbox and pull your Xbox saves into Steam, and your Steam progress back into Xbox, vice versa. So you're getting all that progress. I would imagine that'll be the same thing on PlayStation and Nintendo, as long as they allow it. Because Phil Spencer did talk about on closed platforms, there will be some limitations on some of the things they can do about bringing the Xbox experience there. But at least on Windows, hell, they own it, number one, but it's an open platform. They should be able to do whatever they want there. So that's what I'm still curious to see. And again, you only had so much limited time speaking to him, so I couldn't really dive into the weeds on that. I really wanted to, but I mean, we'll obviously see. And as I continue here, I have, what is this, $5 super chat from Nerds and Other Legends. Honestly, if an Xbox game everyone loves becomes instantly popular and a hit across all platforms, that is only an affirmation of the fandom. Agreed. I mean, and Phil talked about that in the interview, that basically your most popular games aren't essentially locked down to one platform. They're multi-platform games. Some of them, again, it's like I had someone on social media justify that console exclusivity, like you lose quality when you're on multi-platform. I completely disagree with that. Some of the greatest games ever made are multi-platform. Mass Effect 2 is everywhere, and it's one of the greatest games ever made. The Witcher 3 is everywhere. It's one of the greatest games ever made. As examples, again, Grand Theft Auto, there you go, Red Dead Redemption. I mean, on down the list of games, Skyrim, I could keep going on forever. These are multi-platform games, and I don't see them losing any quality on that because they weren't exclusive. Now, are there amazing exclusive games? Of course there is. The Last of Us, as an example, just off the top of my head, Halo, or at least for now, Halo 2, stuff like that. But you get my point. And I appreciate the super chat, really do. And looks like I got another one here from Jax82 with a $10. And you were saying, again, thank you very much. They're saying there's a lot of games out there that I wasn't aware of came out, nor did I see any commercials about them, like Daymare 1994. I wonder sometimes, was it shown at another showcase or did I just miss it? I think it's a combination of both. And that's kind of, just some of the communications that I've been able to give feedback to publishers is you need to give some of your, sure, you have your big showcase in June, but you also still need to communicate about some of your other titles throughout the year because they'll get, quote unquote, get lost in the shuffle. So I think it's very important to constantly be communicating to your customers about the games that you have coming over various platforms. Obviously, social media, your YouTube channel, you can do a digital showcase. There's all different avenues to be able to bring awareness. Obviously, set up interviews on an IGN, with popular YouTube channels, stuff like that. Bring those developers in to talk about these games that's coming out and spread the awareness about them for the very point that you're making. I appreciate the super chat. And what else do we have here? What are we talking about? Diogo, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. It looks like something about the 5090 received are the Founders Edition version and are gifts from NVIDIA to influencers. I'm probably missing part of that conversation. So I will give you context for me. Yes, NVIDIA did send me a 5090 Founders Edition last week. free to do whatever I want. I put an unboxing video out. I have not put a review out yet. I will do so. I am probably going to do some other content around it to showcase some of the advantages that you now have with DLSS 4 and multi-frame generation as well. That stuff is coming. But yes, that was provided to me by NVIDIA. So that is why I have one. What do we got here? Oh yeah, Elden Ring is another multi-platform game, just again as an example. And then Nick is asking me with a $4.99, how excited for Avowed are you? I'm very excited for Avowed next month. Greg and I literally did a hype cast yesterday about Avowed on Kind of Funny. I highly suggest you go over there and check it out. We literally just ran, like old clips. We talked about experience with the preview, with the hands-on, and what we're anticipating coming here into the final build for review. And yeah, go check it out. It's about, like, we talked about a good hour about it. It was a lot of fun. And Jacob is asking me with Hiroki and Hidaki, I believe I'm saying that correctly, now being in charge at Sony PlayStation, how long do you think it will take for the games to be coming to Xbox? Have zero expectation for PlayStation games coming to Xbox. You should not have that expectation at all. Could there be a couple one-offs here and there? Sure. But what Xbox is doing, PlayStation is not going to do anytime soon. The expectation now, I think there's a better chance of seeing some of their games come to Switch, right? Again, smaller titles that make sense, like Lego Horizon as an example. But I think the expectation for PlayStation to be more the PC avenue. I think we're going to edge closer and closer to them putting PC games day and date along with console games. Like, I know, and it's been a running joke, like you could see a scenario where Wolverine is day and date on PC along with it on PlayStation 5. Think of it more along those lines. Any word on Family Game Pass? Zero word on it. And again, if I had enough time, I should have asked Phil, hey, what's up with the Family Game Pass? Because we know that's a thing that they were working on at some point, and I don't know if it's been completely shuttered or if it's still, in the background. I think Jez did say something about it at some point. I don't think it's completely dead, but maybe they're trying to figure out how to properly do it, because obviously it needs to monetize and it needs to work for them financially. So we'll see. I hope it happens, because right now, I have 3 Game Pass subs that I'm supporting. I have mine, and then my oldest daughter, and then my son. We all have Game Pass and use it individually. You feel I'm right about big license game? Yeah. Just going through this again, the chat, and again, I appreciate everyone here. That's crazy. I'm looking. There's over 200 people here. That's crazy. I'm just talking and rambling. That's wild to me. So I do appreciate it. I really do. Let's see. Thoughts on Sony removing the PSN requirements on single player PC games. It's what they should have done from the get-go. It never made sense to make PSN a requirement on PC. Just for the simple fact that it didn't tank Helldivers 2, but all of a sudden you had all these countries that no longer had access to Helldivers 2 because of that requirement. And even with the single player games, you have people in countries that cannot play your games on PC because of that requirement. So now that you're making it optional, you can start selling those games again in those countries. It just makes sense. Making it optional and giving incentives for me to want to sign in the PSN was always the right move. So I'm glad that someone finally spoke up and they're doing the right thing with that. And again, I'll just bring Xbox into an example. You can play Xbox games on Steam, and you are not required to sign into Xbox Live, but you can. And that's the difference. Just make it optional. And Jordan, hey, Parris, love your work. Keep killing it, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to say this for a second, because I do think, me personally, I think I focus way too much on negative comments that come my way versus the overwhelmingly positive comments. And I'm truly thankful and appreciative for people that respect my opinion, want to hear what I have to say. Because again, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm just on here rambling, but I am always blown away by the support that I get in the community from people that say kind words to me, encourage me to keep going, want to see me do more things. That is always something that I appreciate, and I probably don't express enough. So I do want to thank everyone that does that, because again, you're always gonna have people that disagree with you, right? and I was even talking with someone about this the other day, is you could get 99 positive comments, and it's that one negative comment, and that'll be your only focus, is that one out of 100. You know what I mean? So look at the positive in things and don't always dwell on the negative. And that's something I personally have to work on too. I will fully admit it. But again, thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate it. And oh, someone in Brazil. Hey, but again, this is why I love this stuff, because it's like I'm literally talking to people from around the world, like UK, Brazil. It's wild that, you know, this is what social media and the internet, this is the good part of it, where it can bring us all together and we can communicate and we can interact and, you know, and have reasonable, well thought out conversations about gaming. Not all of it's going to be great. Obviously, there's a lot of awful things happening in the world right now, but at least we can have a brief moment in time where we don't have to necessarily focus on that unless it's important enough that we need to, but have reasonable adult conversations about these things. That is always my goal when it comes to any of this stuff. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I know I need to let it go. And that was my point. That's why I'm openly talking about it right now, to let you know that I am conscious of that and I am hyper aware that that can't be the focus. And like I said, it's just though when you get into this position where, you know, I'm very aware. I'm a very public figure at this point. People pay attention to stuff that I say, and things that I say, I will be held accountable for. And some people try to weaponize it and do all that. And it's just, you just have to understand it's just a part of it. Right. And I am thankful that I have mentors and people that I can confide in. And we talk about this stuff, and, you know, we try to support each other and make it realize that the good far outweighs the bad, and focus on the good, not the bad. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And I do agree, being negative all the time has to be exhausting. That's why, you know, that's why I've even been a little more vocal about that more recently, where I'm just seeing people that their entire identity is just being negative and just being a troll online. It's like, bro, maybe you need to log off this app. Maybe you need to log off this app, interact with real people in your life, and understand it's not that serious. You know, I understand voicing criticism or your opinion, but when you're constantly saying it over and over like a freaking parrot, it's like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, I've been a little more vocal about it, but even that, I probably should just shut up and just keep it moving. And oh wow, Taylor, you're in France. See, this is crazy. Paris. See, I've been to France. One of the best weeks of my life was in Paris, France. It was me and Pete. We went to Ubisoft Paris for a Ghost Recon event, and we literally just spent the week in Paris, and we're like just freaking tourists. Yeah, it's a moment I'll always remember. Fantastic city, love France. But yeah, Taylor, thank you for that kind words. Really appreciate it. Wait, sounds like Snyder fans, but yeah, and that's the thing. Gaming, movies, entertainment, comics, anime, you're always going to have those hardcore fans that are going to be, let's just say, disruptive on that. And again, I don't even want to focus on that stuff. We can move beyond that, because again, this is the whole point. We don't need to just talk about the trolls all the time. I just wanted to point out that I am aware about it. Like, oh, let's talk about things wives and girlfriends are upset about. What are you buying a PSU with a volt stabilizer? Yeah, exactly. Look, I have been through the wars of that, of I'm pulling out the PowerPoint spreadsheets and having to justify this. Well, I need this and that, blah, 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 blah. That's the real conversations that need to be had. Too much positivity. There's never too much positivity. I'll say this, and just swinging this back into gaming, because obviously the news this week has been pretty much dominated, and I'm gonna get to super chat in a second, but has been dominated by obviously the Phil Spencer interview with myself, Danny, and then the one he did with Destin, obviously the Xbox Dev Direct, and then we've obviously seen the leadership changes at Sony, obviously these financial stuff's coming out, these layoffs. The gaming industry is always going to be in flux in that way. And this is my personal view on all of this. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be 100% perfect. I try to focus on the games themselves, because that is what brings us together, right? The games and the community that we build around these games. My personal view is just give me great games. I understand. I would love for every game to be available everywhere. We know that's not a reality, but I'm always excited for great games. Ninja Gaiden Black 2 Shadow Drop, freaking great. South of Midnight about to come out, great. Avowed about to come out, great. You know, Expedition 33, great. Ninja Gaiden 4 way down the road, great. Switch 2 finally got revealed. We know we get Mario Kart and Metroid Prime 4 and all these other dope things are coming. These are the things that I would rather focus on, right? Versus the constant just change, because, okay, Sony leadership change. Yes, they canceled a bunch of live service games. We're aware of that, but I'm going to address it. We talk about it, but then you move on from it, because what's the point of continually talking about it over and over? Just like with the Xbox stuff with multi-platform, we know what's happening now. Why are we continuing to just regurgitate the same takes over and over, right? We know what's happening. The CEO has confirmed it at this point. They've told you they're making hardware. Until they do something that is different than what they said, you move on. Now, if all of a sudden Xbox changes focus and go, yeah, we're no longer going to make hardware, absolutely. You hold their feet to the fire for that and you talk about it, right? But at this point, to say, well, I don't think they're still going to do it. Okay, fine. I don't know what else to say. I can only go by what they tell us, but they've said it repeated enough that I believe it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But going back to that super chat, someone was asking me, Mr. Literal, $2 super chat, and thank you very much. How did you meet Oh No as Alex? How did I meet Alex? It clearly was Twitter. It was probably something on Twitter he said or posted, and then I watched one of his videos, and then I know he does a live stream every Saturday, and, you know, just a cool dude. Look, we don't 100% align on everything, but we align on a lot of stuff. I mean, he's just a fun dude. He's just having fun. And I get people, you know, he has his detractors as well, because, you know, he can be very outspoken about stuff, but I am too. You know, a lot of people are. So you move forward. But I'm actually looking forward to meeting him in person. I think that'll be a fun time, because to me, that's what all this stuff is about, is getting to meet people in person, hanging out and having a great time. Really is. And I see Illegal Dad talking about Adamfall. Yeah, you're talking about Adamfall. I played that at LA Gamescom. Cannot wait until the end of March to play that. And again, that's another one. Excited to be able to play Adamfall. That is right up my alley, that type of game. Kind of a Fallout survival game. It's going to be fantastic. And then, let's see, Cryptic, you're saying, Parris, I don't know if you've seen Snowbike Mike's Gamecast speaking on Xbox. Yes, I did. I was actually in the chat while he was talking about that. And his worry of the Xbox ecosystem shifting away from the box and possibly him shifting to having just PlayStation Switch. What are my thoughts? Here are my thoughts. He is 100% justified in thinking that way. Every point that he made is valid. This is, again, the risk of what Xbox is doing. But at the same time, is it a risk? Because you're still playing their games. Again, my personal opinion, they are making their hardware optional. I view Xbox hardware moving forward like the Surface. It is a reference model that you can buy if you want, but if you don't, you can still access all their software. That's how I see it. You know, is that perfect? Is that ideal? Is that what we've been used to? Of course it isn't. Of course, I understand people that are upset about it. Of course, I understand people that are concerned that, well, then they're just going to simply stop making hardware. That is a valid possibility. But I think we'll be in the 2030s by the time we get to that reality, if it happens. Who knows what the hell the landscape of gaming is going to look like then? So we will see. Let's see if this works. I don't know. I truly don't know if Xbox's strategy is going to work, other than games are going to be available in more places, and I don't think that is a bad thing. So we'll see. Oh, wow. Alonzo, hi, Parris. Greetings from Central America. Again, I'm going to say this again. It is freaking wild that people from all over the world get to tune into this and we get to interact and talk. I'm very, very appreciative of that. And just thank you so much. And asked about Split Fiction. I'm excited for it. I'm interested in it. I guess it just went gold, I believe, right? So definitely looking forward to that. Again, you know, coming off of It Takes Two and all that, I'm you know, coming from that developer, I think it'll be great. So we're looking forward to that. And Dale's saying, I think of it more like the Apple TV. Exactly. You don't have to get an Apple TV, but I own one and I use it all the time. I think it's the best streamer that I have. I do think the difference is obviously the Apple TV has access to all the streaming services where the Xbox device won't have access to certain games. That'll kind of be the difference when it comes to that. I'm not playing PlayStation games on it unless there's some loophole where I can put Steam on it and I can play the PlayStation games on Steam or something like that, right? That would probably be the difference. And then Jay Rimbert with a $5 super chat is saying, I'm all over Xbox's move, but I have zero faith in them continuously releasing hardware. I'd bet money the next Xbox is the last one that they'll release. And that's a fair bet. It is. That's what I just talked about. We won't know what their move will be beyond this. But let's talk about this for a second. So let's just pretend 2027, a new Xbox comes out. It is a hybrid console that basically has Windows underneath it, but you get the Xbox experience. They give you a handheld as a companion, plays all the Xbox games. It's great. It sells even less than what the Series X is doing right now, which is a very real possibility, right? Like I said, treat it more like a reference model. We see third-party variants of this Xbox hardware that comes out. So that comes out in 2027. Typically, console generations last 6, 7, 8 years. So let's just split the middle and say it's 7. We are now in 2034 when you would have the next version of hardware, the next PlayStation 7, the Switch 3 or whatever the hell, right? Maybe at that point, it doesn't even freaking matter anymore. If there's Xbox hardware. Again, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But I think your concern is valid. And we'll obviously see if that's the direction that Xbox winds up going. You also have to think of this too. By 2034, there's probably completely different leadership at Xbox and maybe even Microsoft. Phil Spencer, by that point, will 100% be retired. Satya Nadella may be retired at that point as well. So who knows what the vision of Microsoft as a company, let alone Xbox, could be at that point. And that's just how I see it. So we'll see. And what do we got here? Sleazy Superman. Parris, I think us loyal Xbox fans are just frustrated that Xbox finally buys a bunch of devs and Bethesda to finally have legit exclusives. Then they buy Activision and practically give up. Pathetic. Let me address this too. So, as you may or may not know, I have literally stood on an Xbox stage and announced that Starfield was exclusive, as an example, right? So, I understand the frustration because this was not the vision they sold us at the start of the generation. They sold us that exclusive still mattered. When they acquired Bethesda, exclusive still mattered. To your point, when they got when they got Activision, it changed. And I'm sure there's a variety of reasons that it changed. 100% valid. And my thing, again, if I ever got a chance to talk to Phil Spencer again and had a longer, more in-depth conversation, the thing that I'd want to express about, I understand core console people having a frustration over this is, you didn't allow me to make a decision at the start of the generation that this is what you're going to do. If I knew in 2020 that this is what you were going to do, maybe I don't buy an Xbox. Maybe I did just buy a PlayStation at that point because I'm getting your games on that platform. So I do think that's valid. And I do think that's something I hope they address more in depth moving forward. So it is a frustration. It makes a lot of sense. The only thing that I can say for anyone that has already invested in an Xbox is you will get those games, this roadmap of games will be on that device and you will be able to play them. And you can obviously subscribe to Game Pass if you so choose to take advantage of them. All of that. Beyond that, going into the next one, I think it is more than valid for anyone to go, I don't know if I want to buy this next Xbox. Maybe I'll just get the PS6 or maybe I'll just build a PC, right? That's valid moving forward because they've lessened the reason for you to have their hardware. Unless what he said during the interview, they do something so innovative that you're like, you know what, man, I got to have that. I need that. I need that device. I want that device in my home, so I'm still going to buy it. So we'll see. But I think what you said is spot on and completely valid. And again, I think people misinterpret me that they think I don't care about that or whatever. No. This is where people pick and choose what I say and when I say it. I've talked about this multiple times. Like you could even go back when all this went down because people love to pull the clip of me about Halo with the pitchforks. I mean, I talked about this on Friends Per Second with Skill Up and Lucy and Jake. Same thing, that The worry is Xbox going to lose their identity? And I didn't ask it. My bad. I should have. But Destin did. And obviously Phil gave his response on that too. And we will see. But I do know this. I'm looking forward to playing Perfect Dark. I'm looking forward to playing Fable. I'm looking forward to playing Gears E-Day. I'm looking forward to playing South of Midnight. I see Clockwork Revolution. The games are coming. So whether I play them on an Xbox, whether I play them on a PC, or I play them on the goddamn ColecoVision, I'm going to play these games. And I think ultimately that is what people should focus on. But that is just my personal opinion. You do not have to agree. And what else is Sleazy saying? It's not that us Xbox fans had to deal with. Okay, now you're not going to like what I have to say on this. That is brand tribalism that you're talking about right now. That I could give two shits about. I really could. Because at the end of the day, I just want games. I just want to play great games. I could give two shits if they're on the PlayStation, the Coleco, the Tandy, the Radio Shack version. It does not matter to me. So I don't do that us, this, that. It's like, come on. I understand you've purchased something with your money, and that is a valid complaint because not everybody can afford multiple consoles. So I will always be sympathetic to that. But I mean, we can't do this revisionist history on that. We know that the business changed. We know they said one thing and it has changed mid-gen, which I do fault them for. But ultimately, it's about the games. Like I said before, those games are still coming to that Xbox that you own in your home right now, and you can still play them. So I don't do exclusive, because to me, that comes into the console war silliness. My brand has something that you don't have, so I win. I don't really care about that stuff, but that's just me. And if you feel differently, again, more than valid. Yeah, I keep hearing that Fable might get pushed to 2026 as well, but that's just rumors and whispers. No one said nothing to me directly. So last I heard is 2025. That's why okay, here we go. So this is why I wanted to do a live chat, because these are the Twitter conversations that I keep seeing all the time. Just because you don't care about exclusives doesn't mean most Xbox fans don't, by the way. Let me read it again. Just because you don't care about exclusive doesn't mean most Xbox fans don't. I love you, my Lakers brother, but Xbox fans have been waiting for years for exclusives. Here's my question. What game are you not going to be able to play? So you're telling me you care more about other people not being able to play something that you can play. So that's why it matters to you. Think about that. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to be logical about this. At the end of the day, who gives a flying fuck about a console? Or not a console, but exclusives. Seriously. And pardon my language, but I want to emphasize that. At the end of the day, you get to play that game. Why do you care so much that someone else gets to play it too? And honestly, Xbox hasn't been exclusive for years because their games are on PC day and date. So really, they've not had exclusivity for a very long time. So again, this is where I'm talking about console war stuff. You're telling me that you are more concerned that someone on PlayStation or Nintendo gets to play the game that you play. Think about that. And I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to move on beyond that. So Nick with a $4.99 super chat. I'm excited for the future of Xbox. I can play the games on my PC or on my PS5 or on my Xbox. I'm just super excited for games like Gears E-Day. Me too. I just give me Gears E-Day. Because honestly, sure, I'm going to play it on my Xbox, but I'll probably play it on my PC too. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me. And what else do we got here? All right. So, all right, let me read one more about the exclusivity stuff here. So Johnny Gaming, exclusive games are about taking full advantage of the console it's on. It's not about just other people being able to play. So I'm going to ask this again. What game is not taking full advantage of the console? Answer that question for me, please. Because last I checked, you can still do quick resume. They still do the velocity architecture. You still take advantage of the controllers that are on there. What game is not taking advantage of the console? Just a simple question. That's all I want to know. So again, I'm not going to do the console war thing. I've been pretty clear in my opinion about it because it's happening. So we can fuss about it all day, but it's happening. You may not like it. I may not like it. It doesn't matter at this point because it is happening. And that's all I'm trying to express here. They've taken the business in a certain direction and you either deal with it or you leave Xbox altogether and you go somewhere else. And again, I don't work there, but that's the reality of it. I'd rather focus on the games. But that's just me. Okay, so what else do we have here? If Windows is third party and they make their own hardware for it like laptops, then won't they do the same for Xbox? I don't know what that means. I legitimately don't know what that means. If Windows is third party and they make their own hardware for it like laptops, then won't they do the same for Xbox? I think you're saying what I was saying before, that they're just going to treat the Xbox like a Surface. I'm assuming that's what you mean, because that's essentially what Microsoft does right now with Windows. Oh, Michael Pierre, now you don't care about exclusive. Hypocrite. I think you're talking to me. And I would love to see the quote where I said I ever cared about exclusives, because I've never said that. So I don't know. I'm definitely not me being a hypocrite. So Johnny Gaming, as an example, it would be Baldur's Gate 3 took them a year to finally get split screen. If they didn't have Series S, it wouldn't have held back that feature. I don't disagree with that. I mean, Destin asked him about that in parity, and he said they're still going to do the parity thing. They obviously made an exception to the rule to get it on there. Now, obviously, Phil's argument back was it's allowed their developers to, or creators to obviously develop for a lower platform, which should help them as they move into the handheld. I mean, I get it. It's not an ideal answer, and I don't 100% agree with it because, ultimately, if the Series S didn't exist, Baldur's Gate would have been on the Xbox from day one. And we know there's other third-party stuff and reasonings. And, some people gave me some critique on why didn't you ask about Black Myth Wukong, but he answered that back in November. And he basically said he does know why, but he's not going to tell you. So I wasn't going to ask him again because he's just going to say, I'm not going to tell you. But I get it. I get the Series S stuff. Let's put it this way. I bet you they don't do a Series S next gen. I guarantee you that. There's no way the headache of the Series S was a benefit to them this generation, other than it was a lower cost. And I get coming in, hey, we're going to make a lower cost device, easier entry, all of that. But ultimately, you had developers that struggled to create games on. And that's something they have to be accountable for, and moving forward, make sure they don't make that mistake again. Which console is good now? PS5 Pro or Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black? That is obviously up for interpretation on what you find in value. I mean, if you can only, let me put it this way. If you can only get one, I mean, I guess you would probably get the Pro at this point, right? It's the more powerful one. I get it's $100 more, but you would probably get the PS5 Pro at this point, unless you want to take advantage of Game Pass and all the games that are on Xbox, and PlayStation games don't matter to you. That's really what it comes down to. And let me see, what is Fillmore Pocket saying? Xbox wants the top 10 games list for all consoles to be filled with Xbox games. PlayStation is content with selling a bunch of consoles and collecting 30 cents from game publishers. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, we'll obviously see. I think PlayStation having to cancel the live service strategy didn't work. They canceled a bunch of games, and I do think that delayed them. And Dolo Knight, what's up, Todd Bowles? Oh, I mean Parris. Actually, I don't think that's kind of funny. What else we got here? Wait for the next console. I don't think there's enough of a difference to jump to Pro. Well, I mean, look, if we're just talking straight up PlayStation, I even said this in my review of the Pro, that I didn't see enough of a difference with the games right now. And I even just commented on this again recently, that it's like, hey, PSSR still needs work. A lot of the games you're not seeing with the cost versus the current PS5 games look great and play great on it already. I don't see a reason to upgrade. But if you're walking into it brand new and you don't own anything and money isn't the factor, you might as well just get the Pro at that point. But if money's a factor, all that, you're not going to be upset if you have a PS5. That's how I look at it. And what else do we have here? What time is it actually? Okay. So I'm actually going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes because I have to jump into another meeting here. But look, let me say this. I appreciate all the comments, and this is what I said at the beginning. I appreciate people that, you know, I appreciate people that obviously support what I do, that would agree with what I'm saying, but I also appreciate people that disagree. And we've obviously seen some examples of that here recently. And I understand the passion about Xbox and your investment that you've made into it and all exclusivity stuff. But here's one thing. I'm always going to shoot you straight on what I think, whether you agree with me or not. So the little back and forth we just had earlier, that's me shooting you straight and telling you what I think about it. Because at the end of the day, I would rather have great games than being stressed over who else gets to play that great game. But that's just me. And clearly, going by this chat, not everyone agrees with that, and that is fine. And No, I love you too, Superman. And again, I was not at any point trying to single you out as some bad guy. We agree to disagree on that, but I definitely wanted you to get my point on how, on my side of it, my point of view on it, and where I'm coming from on it. And look, I understand that I'm in a unique position where I honestly have access to a lot of stuff with Xbox. I have a lot of access to stuff with PlayStation and Ubisoft and EA and all that. And I've been lucky enough to talk to some of these people privately, you know, that are in leadership positions and understand their point of view on that kind of stuff. And I try to, you know, portray some of that back into the things that I talk about, because it's given me another perspective that maybe I didn't think of before. So I try to give that perspective to people that may or may not be seeing it as well. And that's what I'm trying to do here. There's obviously various layers and perspectives to everything. Like I said, at the end of the day, let me say this. At the end of the day, there is not a person that is making a game that doesn't want their game to be great. No one. There's no one that goes, I'm just going to make this game if it's shitty, who cares? Everybody wants to make a great game. There are so many different variables that go into why a game isn't great, fails, whatever, all that. Obviously, the hardware stuff that comes into all these different things that we have to layer into this. And I think that is always should be a part of the conversation. And I always want to make sure people that are aware of that. Everyone is trying to make a great game. Everyone wants to give you a great experience, right? And those are the things that we remember are the great experiences, right? Like, I'll just tell you right now, Mass Effect 2, the suicide run at the end, one of the greatest goddamn gaming moments in my life. BioWare made, I'll be forever thankful to stuff like that. These are the things that I remember, right? I remember the first time that I played Super Mario Brothers and I thought the platform and how transformative it is. I remember the first time I encountered a Big Daddy in BioShock, right? I remember the first time in The Witcher 3 going into Velen in that open world and going, holy shit, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I personally focus on those things, not the business side of it. As long as, and I think, again, people want to pull little quotes on me. My thing is, I just care about great games as long as they're available to me. And as long as I have access to those games, that's all that matters to me. So not everyone has to agree with that. Not everyone's going to think that way, but that is always going to be the perspective that I try to bring to you. So hope that makes sense. And Thomas with a super chat, and thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate that. Thomas, the Dank Engine, $5 super chat. Be mad at PlayStation for not sharing the exclusives. Don't be mad at Xbox for sharing theirs. And that's a perspective too. You can look at it that way. But I do understand we've grown up in a business model where exclusives did matter. I'm again, to people that have been talking about that, obviously, Nintendo is still doing it. PlayStation obviously is still doing it. Xbox has decided not to. Xbox is trying something different. They're not playing by the rules anymore. And I understand people that don't like it, but Let's see how it plays out going into this gen is what it is because you've already invested in hardware. You're going to get the games. The real deciding point is going to be probably in 2027 when now you have an informed decision to make. Now, you know, I don't have to buy that Xbox anymore to play their games because they're going to be over here. So do I still buy their box or do I buy the other guy's box and I'll play them there? That's what it's going to come down to. You just got to think of it that way. So I'm looking at the time here. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I don't know. I'll give a couple minutes here if there's any last comments here for anyone to address. And there's Gaz. Hi, Gaz. Don't listen to the man. All he does is lie and sing songs about me. Oh, I freaking love it. You know what, Gaz? I cannot wait. I'll give us a little hint. There is a good chance I will be in the UK in March. And if I am whooping your ass when I see you. But nah, man, I love you though, man. And I'll just say this about Gaz real quick since he's here. Gaz has been a pain in my ass for years now because he always gives me shit. And I love it at the same time because, you know, we don't always agree on stuff. We are definitely different in our approaches, but I always appreciate Gaz's passion just about gaming. Obviously, we both come from an Xbox slant, and he's more Xbox more than anything. But I know you're like trying to get a 5090 today and all that kind of stuff. But the whole point on it is we just like gaming at the end of the day. And like I said, all opinions are valid when it comes to that stuff. I'm the positivity peddler, and he's the shit talker, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, if we ever meet in person, we're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to laugh and joke, and it's going to be great. And that is what gaming is supposed to be about versus all the nonsense that you see online. So, yeah, I got to run to a meeting. So I'm out of focus. See, I'm out of focus because I got to go. We bring it back in focus. Yeah, is it going to come back in focus? My camera sucks. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. You know what it is? Since Gaz is here, this is why I'm out of focus. It's this stupid 4090 that I got sitting there. The camera keeps picking it up. The new 1080 Ti is the 4090. I can tell you right now, those 5080 specs were disappointing. 5090 is good, but if you got a 4090, keep it. Don't get rid of it. That thing is going to be a beast for a long time. But I got to go. So I do appreciate y'all hanging out here. I'm going to end the stream. Like I said, I'm going to improve the glow of this channel. But this has been fun. And I will talk to all of you again real soon. Tomorrow on Kind of Funny Gamescast, XCast reunion, we're going to talk about the Xbox life cycle for the rest of this gen. It's going to be a fun one. So until then,